Phenomenon, directed by Dario Argento, released in 1985, starring Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance. It's about this young girl who is from America and she travels to Switzerland to a sort of boarding school that is it's top notch. And she is the daughter of a famous actor, so she is able to get her way into the school. And it turns out there's some weird stuff going on along in the school, and there might even be a murderer. That sounds a lot like another Argento film, but I can't quite put my finger on it. All kidding aside, this this movie is a bit polarizing to me. Now, I like Jennifer Connelly in this movie. I think she's pretty good. It's one of her first starring roles. It was even before she did Labyrinth, and she plays this character also named Jennifer, who has this psychic ability where she can communicate with insects. And she uses this ability to protect herself and to sort of investigate to figure out what is going on in this school and the surrounding area and try to figure out who's killing off all these people. And she befriends this doctor who is an animalologist who has a pet chimp. And this is, of course, played by Donald Pleasance. And no surprise, Donald Pleasance is great as always. And I think that the main problem I have with some Argento films, and keeping in mind that English is a second language, so when they dub over the Italian stuff to English, the dialogue is not always great. Like, you get great gems like, I'm a tourist and I'm lost. I don't speak any of the language. Like, there's a line like that in the movie. But I think that Connolly and Pleasance's dialogue are all very, very good because they're native English speakers, just like Jessica Harper was in Suspiria. So I think that when they re-recorded their dialogue, they were able to be like, well, that's not how you would actually say it. This is how you would say it. But I always try to give Argento a pass on this because again, English is not his first language; it's his second language. So I always try to forgive the dialogue, but the dialogue is not the best in this movie. It's not as bad as Opera, but it's about on par with Suspiria and Inferno. But as she befriends Donald Pleasance's character, they try to work together to find out who this killer is, and I love the opening sequence of this movie. The opening sequence follows a girl who is lost. She has missed her bus and she stumbles upon this strange red house, and she comes into this house hoping that somebody will help her. And the scene cuts to her looking through the house, and then it cuts to something or someone trying to get loose from this wall. It's a very intense scene. The score in this movie by Goblin is great. However, I have a major problem with the music in this movie. Not the Goblin score, the other stuff. There are scenes that are meant to be scary that if they'd just been left without any music, they would have been really tense. But there are scenes where characters are running away from something or are quietly moving through a house, and Iron Maiden or Motorhead is played. And this happens 4 times at least throughout the movie. And it's a total scene killer where I'm just like, Jesus, this is not scary at all. It's not supposed to be rock and roll and heart pumping. It's supposed to be really dramatic and suspenseful. As much as I love Motorhead and Iron Maiden, it just doesn't work. I don't know what the hell Argento or whoever put the music in there was thinking. The Goblin score was great. It would have fit just fine. So I don't know if somebody at the studio was like, when we release this in America, we have to have American music. Let's do, you know what's really popular right now? Iron Maiden and Motorhead. Let's put them in the scene. While this certainly isn't one of Argento's best movies, it still has a lot of his strengths. It's got great direction and great cinematography. I mean, he leans a lot on blues, and the action is always interesting, even if there are parts of the movie that takes you out of it. It's very, I mean, if again, it's like Suspiria and Inferno, where each set piece is like an art piece, and I mean, it's just, you're never bored by what you're looking at on the screen, and I just love how colorful most of his films are, especially his earlier stuff, and Phenomena is not any exception. I think that this would be good for people who are not into the gory stuff, because from what I have seen out of Opera, Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother of Tears, this is Argento stepping back a little bit from the gore. There's still some nasty stuff throughout the film, but it's more like dispersed out, especially throughout the ending. Like, the ending has the most intense stuff, but really the rest of the stuff in the film, the rest of the violence and the gore is really tame, especially by Dario Argento's standards. It's really not that bad. So, Phenomena. Have you seen it? What's your favorite Argento flick? What's your favorite Italian horror film? Comment below, let me know. I got to watch the film on Shudder, and I've been really enjoying watching all sorts of other horror films on the streaming service. I believe they're still doing a special that if you use the code word SHUTIN, you can get a free 30-day trial. So make sure you check that out. Thanks always for watching. Bye.